What's going on, everyone? Going to history, coming to you here about 36 hours away from Hurricane Ian making landfall here in Florida. There's a lot of positives that I've had to living in Central Florida. One of the biggest positives, the fact that I'm in very close proximity to some of the biggest, most popular theme parks in the world. We have Walt Disney World, we have Universal Studios, we have SeaWorld, as well as many other attractions here in Central Florida. One of the downsides to being here in Florida is the off chance of there being a major hurricane coming periodically hitting the state. It's been a while since we've had a major hurricane. The last major hurricane we've had was Hurricane Irma back in 2017. Since then, it's been fairly calm here in the Atlantic. However, I've lived here my entire life, and I've definitely been through major storms. The 2003, 2004, 2005 hurricane seasons were catastrophic compared to, the last decade or so. So it's been nice having a little bit of a break. So this is definitely something that I'm not completely foreign to. It has been a little while since I've had to prepare at length and compared to various different named storms coming. So it is a little bit of a change of scenery having to prepare this way versus the last few years where we haven't really had anything major coming to the Sunshine State. And there's a lot of questions some people run into is, what do you do? Do people pick up and do they leave the state? Do they evacuate to northern counties? Do they go outside the state? And there's a lot of different questions that people have to answer, and everyone has their own individual preferences. If I lived closer to the coastline, I'd probably have different decisions versus what I have here in Central Florida. By me here living in Central Florida, typically the potential speed that we're going to have once the hurricanes make their way here tend to be a lot lower than what it would be on the coastline. They're predicting that when Hurricane Ian makes landfall, it's probably going to still be carrying with it Hurricane 3 force winds, which are typically in excess of 100 to 110 miles per hour. By the time they make it here to Central Florida, they're predicting barely hurricane, borderline tropical storm style wind speeds, somewhere around 65 to 75 miles per hour, with a few gusts potentially exceeding beyond that. With that being said, I'm planning on staying here in Central Florida. This definitely is not my first rodeo when it comes to hurricanes. I've lived here my entire life, gone through a lot of different hurricanes. I was a baby when Hurricane Andrew came through. So, I'm definitely not foreign to the preparations of myself for the hurricanes. With that being said, though, there's a lot of conversations about what's going on with theme parks, what's going on with Universal. I have a video that should be coming out before this one that dives into whether or not some of the theme parks are still going to be open once the storms makes landfall. As of right now, a few theme parks have closed. Busch Gardens in Tampa Bay has closed for Wednesday and Thursday. There has been some areas that have closed on Walt Disney World's property, but Walt Disney World currently is staying open. There is still normal operational hours for Universal Orlando. A lot of questions are going to be raised whether or not that's going to include Halloween Horror Nights, because Halloween Horror Nights goes until 2 a.m. And it's predicted that Wednesday night, or technically Thursday morning at 2 a.m. is when the storm's supposed to make landfall. So there's a good chance that the Orlando area should be starting to feel very high gusts around 2 a.m. So maybe they might end Halloween Horror Nights a little bit earlier, or maybe they might just forego tomorrow and extend it beyond to a different date. Universal Orlando has posted, though, that if there is a closing or an early closing or anything that disrupts the operational hours based off of a natural occurrence such as a hurricane, that they do honor someone's tickets for 7 days. So if someone were to have a ticket, they could always potentially go within those 7 days after that point and would not have to forfeit their ability to take part in the festivities that Universal has to offer. So there is definitely that to look for. So if you're someone who's coming to visit and you find yourself here in Orlando and you're freaking out because you don't want to go out to the theme park definitely during the storm, and you're also not really sure how to deal with the hurricane, you've never lived here, maybe you're coming from the north where they typically don't really get hit with direct hurricanes except for very seldom. There's definitely can be a lot of anxiety that comes with these storms. With that being said, don't want to necessarily seem as if I'm taking a lightness to the impending storm. I'm not. There's definitely, Mother Nature. A long time ago, I realized, that you never take it for granted. But I am also, prepared for, what's in store. I've definitely seen the good, the bad, and the ugly sides of it. I made it a point to go out and I have gasoline in one of my vehicles. I have propane. We have food. We have water. All the essentials are ready. There's a few things that still need to be hunkered down and things need to be replaced somewhere else to prevent them being lost. Just a few little logistics things like that. Just trying to get everything ready for the storm to come. There is some other areas, I'm preparing for. As you guys know, I travel up and go to the Florida Gator football games, and that game has currently been postponed until Sunday. So instead of being on Saturday, it's going to be on Sunday now, which is going to alter some things. So we're going to have to figure out, what that's going to look like. Am I going to make the travels up there? How is the weather still going to be leading up to that point? There's a lot of variables that still need to be answered in relations to that. So you may or may not see an update of the highlights of the Florida Gators taking on the Eastern Washington football team. Only time will tell for that one. I will give some updates on that moving forward. If you want some updates, on how a Floridian prepares for hurricanes, that's also be something I could always look into creating a video for. It kind of would be a little too late for the current storm. However, it could be something that someone could use moving forward as they prepare for future storms, as the season has not technically ended yet. As we found out before, even though we're towards the back end of the season, I learned back when the year when Charlie hit that just because it's October and we haven't really had a bad season does not mean that there's not a chance for some potentially heightened storms to make their presence known even at the back end of the hurricane season. So, just wanted to give you guys a little bit of update into how I prepare for, these storms, precautions that I take, a little bit of my action plan of what I'm planning on doing. Am I planning on doing any type of filming anytime soon? Most likely not, until after the storm's gone. However, I do have some things on the back burner that I will be uploading periodically throughout the storm. So definitely check in for that. But there may not be any new locations I'm going to be going out to, but I'm still going to be posting a few things during the next few days. So definitely check out for those videos. As always, continue to look for the history and film. Let me know down in the comments below. What do you do if you live here in Florida? How do you prepare for hurricanes? Or if you live in another state where you have to deal with snow or blizzards or other natural disasters, mudslides, fires, how do you prepare for these natural occurrences, and in some cases unnatural occurrences? Let me know down in the comments below. As always, continue looking for history and film. Please make sure to subscribe, share the videos, share the channel, help the channel grow, let more people get to know, what we're doing, filming locations, haunted locations, true crime, famous graves, theme parks, and now weather and day-to-day life. Catch you guys next time. Stay safe, everyone.